Welcome to the GingerTalks podcast with GingerSnap67 and Druid Knowledge. And now, here's Ginger.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the GingerTalks podcast. My name is GingerSnaps, and we are joined by Druid. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, not too bad. Here we are live tonight, and it's always exciting to have a guest in the room. It's a different energy. I can feel the electricity. As you can hear in my voice, it's palpable. It's hot tonight. We have that electricity that is the one and only Alt Kitty, cousin, friend, podcast guest extraordinaire. I've already stuttered within the first 30 seconds of recording, which is just standard fare at this point. Over to you, our esteemed guest.
Oh, okay. Hello. Hi. You've said who I am. Okay.
I was waiting for you to give the big reveal. Actually, that's slightly disappointing as an interaction. This isn't good copy.
I'm just saying hello. That's all.
Ginger, over to you. I think at this point we're bereft. We've had some technical issues today, and I think it's left us a little wet behind the ears. So if you could offer some stimulus,
That's good. I got you. This is the second recording from the new Druid Towers, and having a guest. It's always a new place, offers new challenges, and
it's very diplomatically put, I must say.
Listen, talking to clients all week, I'm very good at things happen, but it's okay. I mean, this is how we adapted, grow, and I'm just talking out of my asshole. What's up?
Yeah, it's funny that I think actually it's true. Like, what we fail to kind of accept as like a society of people is that actually we're just a bunch of children playing dress up and pretending that we know what we're saying and doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think about that every time. So let's say I'm at work and I make a call to a parent, right? I feel like I am a 7-year-old boy, like wearing my dad's suit in that moment, pretending that I know what's going on. I think the older you get, the more you realize that that's the truth for everybody.
Yeah.
I love that. A blanket agree.
I mean, yeah.
Like,
Sometimes.
being that I talk to people of all ages and stuff, and like skill levels and shit all the fucking time because we're dealing with kids, which I know you do too, Druid, but like the investment people that are in the second floor of the office building that I work in, like those people are all talking out of their asses. I'm talking out of my ass all the time. My kid's sister talks out of her ass. Like, we all do it. And we all just go, oh, yes, totally, quite, yes.
Yeah, this is why I thank you, the listener, listening to this now, as we fully admit that we have nothing really of any substance to say to you whatsoever. The fact that you tune in, even still,
yeah.
Maybe we're breaking down the artifice of it. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. We were having a discussion before recording today. Just slightly before. What is it that the podcast even does? And the fact is that I can't explain it.
Yeah. I mean,
but then it's all. Oh yeah, please step in.
I'm gonna get all real and philosophical because we've been having a lot of these types of conversations at work.
Right. Okay. Fire away.
So, people who watch streamers, especially the really personable streamers, or a lot of the big streamers are popular because they're either really good at a game, or they're really funny, or they're very real and very personable. And we're just, I think, and people can tell me if I'm wrong, this gives us real, unfiltered snapshots of things that could be edited, but we don't because it's real and it's funnier that way. Like, this podcast is just like, no, it's just a fucking conversation that you'd see happen at a dinner table between the same, 3 or 4 people.
Well, in fact, let's talk about sitcoms
Love a good sitcom.
because I don't want to talk about J-dubs anymore, man. You know what I mean? Like the J-dubs, they come in, they're obtrusive.
Yeah. Ugh.
But yeah, sitcoms. So we talk a lot about sitcoms on here. Did we talk about sitcoms on your previous episode?
I don't think so, no.
No. What's your favorite? What? How? So so the first episode of the podcast deals a lot with Joey Tribbiani, Matt LeBlanc. So it's been a running theme throughout the episodes that we talk about sitcoms from days gone by. So I guess the first question is, since you're a guest, and I guess that we've got to like interview you in some capacity. And actually, when you think about it, like imagine I'm like a real interviewer on a real like radio show. This is actually like the most mundane question that I could ever ask you. What's your favorite sitcom?
Well, I'm about to give the most mundane answer. Friends.
It's Friends.
Okay.
It's Friends.
All right, Mrs. Knowledge, off the microphone. What is your favorite sitcom? Pardon? She says she doesn't know, but I think it's also Friends. Like 90s sitcom. Yeah, Mrs. Knowledge is Friends as well. So we've got 2 Friends. It's so boring.
Hello?
Yeah. Mrs. Knowledge is talking up a storm here in the corner.
I love it.
It's obviously Friends, she says. Obviously Friends. I know she says it's basic. It's
great, but it's like I said, it's a mundane answer because it's kind of what people expect, but it's also the best.
Mrs. Knowledge, come closer. No, okay. I don't want people to think that like I'm making you up. I think it's a big thing here. But yeah, if you're saying Friends, it's basic to like Friends. This is Mrs. Knowledge, the report. It's basic to like Friends, but it's just the best. Is that your message as well?
I feel like it's a very common answer and kind of like an expected answer if someone was to ask which favorite 90s sitcom. But the reason it's such a common answer is because it's so good.
So what do you think then about, right, so we've got a thing here where I don't know if you guys are noticing this, but I'm noticing a trend in articles appearing about talking about what Gen Z think about Friends.
Oh.
That's always coming up in my feed. What do Gen Z think about Friends? These articles are predisposed. They're written by people our age. And sorry, old Kitty, I realise that you're younger than us, and I don't want you to age up.
Well, I was going to say, fun fact. Technically, I am Gen Z.
Ew.
Ew.
No, that's gross. No, but like, so we get a lot of articles coming up at the moment. Am I the only person that's noticed this? That Gen Z shitting on Friends like in a huge way ever since it came on Netflix.
Dude,
because they're like, dude, Ross is so problematic.
Oh, absolutely. They're shitting on like Joey being an idiot, Ross being problematic. Like,
see, I think Ross is problematic, but I think Ross has always been perceived as, well, should have always been perceived as problematic. Because, let's be real, he was the world's worst boyfriend. Like,
Yeah. Right, several times over. But
literally, I'm fine.
I really hope you can hear Mrs. Knowledge. She's going mental about this in the corner. Okay. So what I'm saying is that I think Ross is played as sympathetic, right? And that's the gripe,
Yes.
right? But I'm gonna come out with it, guys. Friends is categorically not the best sitcom.
Yeah, it's not my favorite.
Not your favorite either. I'm sorry to everyone in the room that thinks it is, but you don't think it's the best. It's not. Oh, that's good. Mrs. Knowledge has the best quote of the evening. It's not the best. It's just my favorite. Which, do you know what?
I can respect.
Fucking hell. Yeah.
I respect the fuck out of that, Mrs. Knowledge.
Yeah. You respect the fuck out of it. But like, actually, that should be the argument here. Why are we talking about the best? But I realize I asked the question.
Mm.
But maybe that's right, because I think the best is Seinfeld.
Right.
Probably Seinfeld.
The problem that comes with me is the fact that I am 25 and I really don't actually know any other 90s sitcoms except Friends.
You only know Friends.
I only know Friends.
You're full of shit, man. You don't know Frasier.
I know of it, and
What?
I watched a few episodes because our gran used to watch it every now and again.
Gran used to watch it. Yeah, I used to watch Frasier.
And that's the only reason I've seen a few episodes of it. But yeah.
Do you know, Ginger? I think it might have been the last time we recorded, where I was talking about how good Frasier was.
Mm-hmm.
And then just to hear, I know it because of our grandmother.
Most of the shows that I knew growing up was because of her.
Right. Yeah.
See.
All right, so a better conversation. What's the worst? Right, so we're discounting the obvious worst sitcoms that are Two and a Half Men.
Oh God.
And The Big Bang Theory.
Wow.
Worst. They're the worst fucking. They're purges on this earth. Yeah, they're purges on this earth. They're fucking terrible.
I'm excited about that. I like The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, Bazinga.
See, I enjoyed quite a bit of The Big Bang Theory.
Did you? I think The Big Bang Theory. What was that? What did you say? It's shit. Yeah, Mrs. Knowledge, it's shit. This is why we live together. The big. All right, I'm gonna hot take. Are you ready for that?
Okay.
Last summer was the summer of no hot takes, so we're back. The barbecue's on. The Big Bang Theory is responsible for one of the biggest desecrations of social subculture that I've ever seen in my life. I think it's the end. Big Bang Theory is the death of nerd culture.
I mean, yes.
Big Bang Theory made nerd culture not fun anymore.
Yeah, I can see that because there's certain things that I'm very much like, oh.
Ugh, I'm a goofball. But like in a weird way, I see that as the turning point because it made wearing Green Lantern t-shirts acceptable. Which just should have never been the case.
Right.
I agree with that.
And that's not because Green Lantern shit. It's because it's just like, I think it gave that sense of community a jig in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
As someone who's like heavily entrenched in the nerd community, I can say the Big Bang Theory made gatekeeping so much worse.
Yes.
Yeah, which is what I'm doing right now.
But like, what I mean by that is something I noticed, at least, I don't know if it's political, but like growing up in like a couple of subcultures with like nerdy stuff, alternative stuff, you can get like neck beard dude bros coming up to you whilst you're wearing, I don't know, a Metallica t-shirt. They go, name 3 songs. And like, you
Right.
get the same exact
Right.
thing by neckbeard dude bros in nerd culture. And I noticed it as a D&D streamer because I'm a woman. Not to get feminism. Not to get feminist stuff.
No, please get feminists.
But like, it's like, oh my god, do you know the second rule on page 324 of the DM guide? And I'm like, hey, do you think I've got time to remember?
Yeah.
I'm busy having fun of it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, just laugh at that fucking douchebag and say no. No.
Big Bang Theory, like popularizing nerd culture, definitely makes that work.
Yeah.
Yes, because everyone's an expert, right?
Right.
And I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on anything. You know, so I'm thinking about it. But like, come on, man.
Can I give a couple? I'm gonna dig deep because I know that I haven't given my favorite sitcom, but also I have a controversial least favorite.
Oh shit.
So digging deep into a weird sitcom realm, My Name is Earl.
I love My Name is Earl.
I fucking love that show, and I forget about it.
Yeah.
And then I come back to it, and I'm like, why did I not continue to watch this over and over and over again?
Never saw it to the end, and I fucking loved it.
Oh, so good.
Hey, Crab Man.
Oh, fucking
and not to be like bigoted, but Jason Lee is a Scientologist, which like tarnishes that for me. I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry to our many Scientologist listeners out there. We'll still take your funding. And
Yeah.
merchandise is available at linktr.ee/GingerTalks. You'll find a donate to L. Ron Hubbard button at the bottom of the page. Thank you.
Well, and like My Name is Earl was one of those ones that was just like a sleeper for me. And I got older and I watched it more and I was like, well, fuck, man. I really enjoy this. But one that I cannot stand, which people have revolted on me for, and they will continue to revolt on me for, How I Met Your Mother.
No, it's dog shit.
It's so bad.
It's dog shit.
Like-
It's awful.
It's ripping off Friends in the worst way.
I
like-
don't, it's not funny.
It's one of those shows, like, and there's some phenomenal actors. There's some great talent in that show. But holy fuck, dude. Like, everybody rants and raves and rants and raves and rants and raves, and it gets such great reviews. But I can't sit through a full fucking episode of it because it makes me want to jump out of my second story window.
Yeah, I completely. I think the room agrees.
Ugh.
Also, though, believe that the cultural capital that How I Met Your Mother has is waning.
Yeah.
Just people are not talking about that show like they used to. I will say this: I remember going to people's houses when I was maybe my late teens, and going over and they would put How I Met Your Mother on the television and make me sit and watch it for an hour and a half because they're like, "Just keep watching, you're gonna get it, dude." And I'm like, it's scum. It's complete scum. And Neil Patrick Harris is. I love Neil Patrick Harris, and I love him in so many things. Controversially, love him in the latest Matrix film. But in How I Met Your Mother, Neil Patrick Harris makes Kevin James look like Peter O'Toole.
Yeah.
I got it.
I can't, man. Sorry.
Okay. I gotta say, when it comes to How I Met Your Mother, I feel like there's like good moments, but that's all they are. They're moments, and even then, we're playing fast and loose.
Yeah.
I love the Robin Sparkles thing. It's quite funny,
Um,
and that's about it. And they
I mean-
ruined good storylines that they had going, like obliterated them.
I feel like you have to wade through a mountain of shit to find a diamond.
okay, have you seen Third Rock from the Sun?
Bits, pieces.
Listen,
Bits and pieces. We're not in your era here. What? So what's happening in your era?
yeah,
TV show wise, oh god,
So How I Met Your Mother.
hate it. Also came out a bit before I was in the kind of age to be watching that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, no, but now that you said the name of
no,
the show,
that's our age.
I remember when I was having really bad insomnia, when I couldn't sleep.
See, I watched King
I
of Queens a lot,
have
so I
Comedy
don't
Central
have.
on most times.
I have.
Anyway, people don't need to know that. How the sausage is made, so to speak. Sitcom talk. This is the most in-depth I think we've gone on the.
So sitcoms that I kind of remember and would have like been around the time that I would watch would be like Scrubs.
Okay, yeah, Scrubs is also high up on the list for me.
I've never really been a sitcom person.
No. And actually, as time's gone on, the power of the sitcom has waned.
Hmm.
What was I saying? The Scrubs. I used to love Scrubs, and then I don't know. Scrubs kind of fell out of favor for me a little bit.
Scrubs, like, it's one of those ones that I'll go back and revisit from time to time. But, like, Scrubs was also around the same time that I was watching more of, like, that 70s show. Like, I hit weird strides in TV. I never watched Modern Family, but my mom really enjoys Two and a Half Men and The Big Bang Theory. Mom, if you ever hear this, just yeah.
I don't exist on an algorithm, but I'm a contrarian algorithm. Don't worry about it. Ginger's mom. No, I've never watched Modern Family. I've never actually seen an episode of like it's not just thumbs up.
I've heard good things about it, but I've just never seen it. But I also feel like Modern Family did a lot in the representation category, or especially here in the States.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah. I see. Yeah. You guys need that a little bit more than us. I understand. But,
Yeah.
no, I'm joking. That's so
Well.
terrible. No. We don't have that at all, really, in a positive way. Actually, I think that States does it better.
Oh, we were gonna get into like the politics of it.
Well, we don't have to, but the States does it better.
In terms of like
Representation
in media.
In media, we're terrible. Actually, we're okay. We're getting better, but I think the States are better. Let's not forget, like this. We had Pete Burns, and the States had RuPaul. And, RuPaul, I understand there's someone screaming at the podcast at me right now, but RuPaul I love RuPaul.
RuPaul did good things in the fact that, he once famously said that drag would never be mainstream, and, well, look
Right.
at us now. He's very mainstream. However, he's done some really horrendous things for representation as well. Because he only ever really, let's be honest, puts forward one type of drag.
Yeah.
And then he said what he said about trans people in drag, and how he would never have a transition trans woman on Drag Race because the Olympics of drag, and that would technically be cheating.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, he's done good things, and that's fantastic, but he's also perpetrated harmful ideology.
Yeah, I mean, RuPaul has done great things for helping further queer culture in the eyes of people. And that's a big thing. But RuPaul has also like made things worse in certain sections of drag culture because they don't, it's not certain kinds of drag aren't considered valid. It's less about campy drag or really off the wall alternative drag. It's who can be the most realistic drag queen, who can get close to passing.
Even old drag now is valid. It's not doing anything.
This one is shout out to any club kids out there, by the way. And I'm gonna hey, you guys talk first, because I am in no way qualified to speak on the voices of anyone feeling this way. So please I don't expect anything from me. I don't want to say.
Well, but that is, for me, is appreciated, because even me as someone who's part of the LGBTQIA plus community, I still don't speak on behalf of trans folks, non-binaries. Yeah. I try to uplift the voices of gay men on topics that involve them. I mean, for Christ's sake, I just wrapped a fundraiser on HIV and AIDS research, and I literally addressed that it's not just gay men who can have HIV and AIDS.
Which a misconception I had to clear up in class today.
Really?
Yeah.
And that just goes back to the AIDS crisis in the 80s and what's perpetrated at the time by them. And I just want to say, I too very much part of the alphabet mafia.
You're breaking up a little bit, Alt Kitty.
I was just saying, and that kind of comes down to kind of what media perpetrated during the 80s AIDS crisis.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to point out that I too am part of the alphabet mafia. As is my partner, who is a trans woman. So, just wanted to let it be known so that people don't think I was stepping on their toes or anything.
No.
And be that person. The monarchy is very interesting.
Sorry, say again?
Oh, but it were so simple.
I said not to be that person, but the monarchy is very much a part of the reason that the classism that we do.
I dance very delicately around that, especially on social media, because I got called a racist and a piece of white trash by someone on Twitter for retweeting a friend's statement about, I get it, the queen wasn't the best person, but let the people who want to grieve. So
honestly, my two come on. I mean, honestly, if you give a shit about what anyone's saying on Twitter about the Queen, you need
Dude,
to fuck off.
I got attacked hard. And I was like, bro, it's not even my tweet. What the fuck are you jumping on my dick for? Like,
Who does the Queen? Who does the Queen think she is? Is she the Vamps all of a sudden? You remember, like, you know, like when you say something about Britney Spears, and all her fans come out. Like, who gives? Like, yeah, you're right. Let them grieve. Who? Why? I'm going to stop talking because it's. Why does anyone care what anyone has to think? I don't understand it anymore.
dude, it fucking like it was one of those things where I was like, bruh, like whatever, man. I'm just gonna like be over here on my corner of the internet. You enjoy being wrong over there. Like,
Can we just say as well, like, this is the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest bane social media gives us is the fact that we can say, oh, we think everything we say is the most important thing in the world. Lay off the fucking energy drinks, man.
Okay. I know I'm the guest here. But I gotta ask, because the thing with Twitter and TikTok, especially, both of these spaces, and Tumblr more so back in the day, but TikTok is quickly becoming the new Tumblr, is chronically online take. You know, the people that don't leave their house or shower. And they just like make really bad, like chronically online takes. Like they need to go back and touch some grass. Like, do people have like favorites? Because mine is that if you have a large height difference in a relationship, that you are pedo, basically.
what?
What?
Yeah, there is literally it's quite a famous chronically online take that if you are a tall person who identifies as male and you are dating a short person that identifies as female, you're a closeted pedophile.
Yeah. Can I just say this is proof that like the internet is an inherent evil, and I get the kind of irony that we're here talking about all this stuff. Like, I'm about to say, like, and literally, this is a message to anyone listening to us at the moment: is that like, don't fucking take anything that we're saying seriously in any way, shape, or form. I'm not here. And in fact, I don't know how I ended up in this conversation. But don't don't take anything we're saying seriously, because like people thinking that they need to be taken so seriously is how you end up with this bullshit, man. And everyone thinks what they're saying is super important. It's really not. And I don't know.
And
like,
I'm gonna throw this out there, and then I'm ready to just drop it and fucking move on.
Thank you.
Nobody on the internet is perfect. Nobody on the internet is showing you the true 100% version of themselves. No one on the internet is a perfect fucking being. Alt Kitty kind of knows where I'm like, she probably can guess where this is coming from and this is going. When you get caught with your pants down, go, you know what? Yep, this is my ass. I'm going to make a change. I may be gone for a while. Deuces. It's the internet. It's not that fucking serious until you make it that serious. It's the internet. Go touch some fucking grass.
Who said that? Who said that? Jay Wan. I'm so out of touch, man. What the hell are you talking?
So Twitch drama that people keep trying to suck me into, which is all then just internet drama.
Right. Yo, those two words together, by the way, they just should not exist.
I know.
Oh my god.
Twitch Twitter is like the most, I guess, the most like toxic space.
Do you know what the most toxic space in the world is? No. Whatever fucking factory they're making Prime in.
You're just mad KSI didn't show up with a case of it outside your house.
Do you know what? Like, I'm worried that somewhere in a landfill there's a bunch of seagulls that have like contracted some kind of like attention deficit problem from drinking Prime. I genuinely think it's the devil. I genuinely think it's the devil. People are, and maybe I'm just old, but like people used to trample each other for Cabbage Patch Kids, but now they're doing it for energy drinks.
Dude,
this is well documented.
They don't do that shit here. I know that's happening over there like crazy, isn't it? What, all these stores?
Oh, that happened there, and they were selling them for, I guess, the equivalent of $35.
What the fuck?
Per bottle. Yeah, come off it. And isn't that just the final screech of the planet wailing towards the apocalypse? Right there. I'm just playing Minecraft, dude. Dude,
I do have to say, the community Minecraft server, you bringing that up, Druid, and then like the community being all like, okay, so actually when though, has brought us so much great content. So thank you.
I'm glad. I would really like to join at some point, but I've got an issue.
Your laptop is dying?
No. My PS4 account is linked to a Microsoft account. I can't remember which one it is.
Oh no!
That you can't unlink. You can't unlink a PS4 Minecraft account from a Microsoft account. It's the biggest load of bullshit. So I have the server details, and when I can, I'm going to join.
Hell yeah, because people actually asked, and it's fantastic because they're like, I can open the server hosting like software and log in and see who's online anytime. And right now, I can see that Toast is on. And
yeah, that's the great thing about Minecraft server is it's how freeform it is. Like jazz.
Yeah. There's someone on almost all of the time. And the fact that anybody can be in the voice chat and just hanging out and playing. And if they want to be in voice, they can be. If they don't, they don't. If people are streaming, people respect it. Like, there's great fucking moments that have come out of it and just so much laughter. And people who are normally just viewers are now involved in stuff. We heard Star in voice chat for the first time since joining the respective communities in a Minecraft stream.
Might be. One day we'll join. And you realise it was my idea and I've never followed through. Join in.
That is all. I mean, people are absolutely loving it. So we're having a good time, but like it's just crazy how things are moving and changing and
yeah, the landscape's very different. Isn't it nice to know that here it is as a constant through all that chaos? Here we are.
Mm-hmm.
talking about God knows what, really. I mean, like, think about I'm trying to track the conversation as it's gone on, and it's not impossible. Mostly because I think about half of it I've not fully understood. Um, yeah, I've tried to like give as much as I can. I don't really know. It's great to have two experts on the pod about something, which I'm such. This is the thing about like where the position I'm at now is that I feel like I have become an adult, and I I don't know how to word this without like it's not in like a way where I haven't consumed that kind of media in so long
Right.
that how am I meant to like join in this conversation without sounding like an old man yelling at a cloud? And there's a few times I've had to like take a step back and realize that I am that person. I think being a teacher day in day out doesn't help.
Yeah.
Because like a teacher is like a half a cop. So maybe I'm becoming a cop. Officer Druid. Woo. Officer Druid's here. The fun police. Hey, I don't understand that prime drink. Hey, I tell you what, I'll calm you down, streamer man. How about you try one of these wonderful Marlboro cigarettes?
Dude, you know what's crazy is it's been almost a full year since my last nicotine hit fix any of it. Vape, everything.
Hey,
By the time this comes out, it'll probably have been a year.
hey, but you heard all the people that are doing it? Humphrey Bogart.
Listen, I've had the urge to have a cigarette so bad the last few weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
It never goes away, no?
Dude, it's just like I've been doing so good, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, you know, a cigarette sounds really fucking good right now.
No, but can I just say this? If you actually have one, it'll be the worst experience that you can muster, right?
I had the day I paid off my car, I bought a celebratory cigarello. And
That's the one.
I was like, I know this is dumb, but I'm gonna do it for me. And it was partially to calm my nerves because that was a big step. That had been a piece of debt that had weighed on me for a while. And so I smoked half of it on the way to the bank. I paid off the car and I went and I smoked the rest of it on the way home. And my heart rate didn't drop below 100 beats per minute for about 6 hours.
No, that's insane.
And my heart rate sits resting at about 65 to 70 beats per minute. And I was laying down in bed.
It's a bizarre metric to me. I don't understand
Right.
what a healthy heartbeat is.
70. So 70 is like kind of like the average for the normal healthy human being.
70.
Lower is better because so your professional athletes generally have around about 50. High is worrying.
Should we have a contest? Let's see who has the best.
Well, it's not me. My resting heart rate's at about 110.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, all right. Let's see. I'm going to count mine in the background.
Okay, your barrel math watch.
Okay, I'm going to take my heart rate like live on the
Oh shit.
live on the podcast. Let's see how healthy I am. Right. Put it on. Oh, so your watch will tell me. So I think it might be rather high because
You have had alcohol.
I've had alcohol and a whole Chinese takeout. Like I ate it like it was a large Papa John's pizza.
I mean,
think
my
it's
heart
gonna
rate's
run-
a little high right now.
It's
Like-
high because I'm excited to be on the GingerTalks
Yeah.
podcast with family and friends.
Hell yeah.
Mrs. Knowledge has gone to bed, so maybe
It'll literally.
Maybe it'll go down a bit because I literally love it. Whoa, 107,
107. I'll be there.
109,
Yeah, the more you look at it, the higher it's going to go. Because you start thinking about it.
112. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay.
The more you look, the higher it gets because you're thinking about it.
What the fuck? Get this thing off me. Right, okay. Well, no one told me that the Apple Watch is actually just like a Thanos Tamagotchi.
Mine used to sit around 75. But then a few months ago, I got diagnosed with ADHD, put on ADHD meds, which, you know, the way they medicate attention deficit hyperactive disorder is by making me microdose meth. My heart rate resting is about 110. When I was in Disney World in September, and I was walking around, and at one point, I'm just walking, my heart rate got to like 160 something, and I got an alert on my Apple Watch that like you may be going into cardiac arrest, and I was like, no,
no,
I'm messed up in the brain.
Yeah, no, Mickey just signed my autograph. Actually,
Mine alerts at about 120 if I stay above 120 beats for too long, or like that consistent like 100 beats per minute for too long. It's like, hey, yo, bitch, you dying?
Yeah,
The fuck?
Hey, bitch, you dying? Imagine that's the Apple Watch.
This is an Apple Watch. So it's the Apple Watch Series 6, I think, that can measure your oxygen level.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
I mean, it would be great for someone like my dad who has heart issues, who has just randomly passed out a few times. They have like things like fall detection and stuff. Because if you don't respond and be like, oh, I fell, but I'm okay, it'll call you an ambulance.
I don't know why this is spiraled my thoughts. I didn't know there was 23andMe tests ages ago.
What's that? I don't even know.
23andMe, so it's like basically a DNA test that tells you about your heritage and like your like genetic percentage of regions. And then there's a place called Genome Link, which goes into further depth. And I'm very white, which is no surprise. Very more Irish than Scottish, but obviously more Scottish than English. But I'm also Balkan, which is like Greek.
Oh wow.
Japanese, and Native American. Don't know what. Yeah.
Wow. How does that even work?
It's like 0.1%. Basically, with 23andMe, you literally, so you get the kit come out, and you spit. You put a lot of spit into the little thing, and you send that off, and they analyze it. And then with genome, to do it with genome, like you just link the 23andMe account, and they like upload the raw data, and they go through it because they have more of a thorough database. It's very interesting. Yeah, I'm not Native American. Not that I would ever claim to be Native American. But somewhere in that lineage, that happened.
I don't claim to be Native American, but I am a Navajo. Am I right? And no, sorry. That's probably offensive. But do you know? I heard that Logan Paul did one of those tests, right? He did one of those 23andMe tests, and then it came back, and it was just E numbers.
And that's how they came up with the idea of Prime.
And then they just it was a transfusion. And that's how they made Prime, like some kind of like taurine infused Dracula. It's just E numbers,
God.
and then he went to sperm bank, and that's how H3 was created. They used to be so good, but it's the biggest heartbreak ever on YouTube. But anyway, we're not talking about. I hate it. I don't know why I brought it up. Wait, so it's funny. So we're seeing it's a quarter. So we share a quarter DNA.
Mm-hmm.
So what I have that you don't have is the Judaism.
Yeah, so that doesn't. For me, it's Northwestern European, Balkan, Iberian, Italian, Eastern European, Near East, Dravidian, Scandinavian, native peoples of North America. I thought it was point one, I was wrong. It's point three. Maritime East Asia, specifically Japan, North African, and then other European. Don't know how I managed to travel here.
Yeah. And after all that ethnic and cultural diversity, here we are talking about Twitch streams.
I will never thank you anything other than
No. Let's be honest, we are operating in such a wide space.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want it to be that way. But Jesus Christ. Let's thank Sheldon Cooper for that, actually.
So, I know we kind of shout on Big Bang Theory earlier, but as someone who has recently discovered that they are autistic,
What?
Did you forget that?
They're autistic in the show.
Yeah, Sheldon's autistic, but it's not spoken about.
Yeah.
It's
But
something that exists.
yeah.
No, I'm saying I recently found out I was autistic. Not
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, completely misinterpreted that.
Yeah, speaking as someone who has recently been diagnosed with autism, I'm kind of glad that I had Sheldon Cooper way before I was diagnosed because, yeah, he's annoying and he doesn't really understand other people. But I'm kind of glad to have had that because it has sort of normalized autism in a way. Because even though they never said it, we all know.
Yeah. Interesting you say that. You see, so I would have took it from a different angle. I thought they were proving that he was funny, but like he was maybe the butt of the joke. That's how I saw it. But to hear it from you, like I can't question that. I'm not trying to devalidate that.
I definitely think he was the butt of the joke in the beginning. But I think as the seasons went on.
Right, yeah, fell out of it. Very much so. My counter argument to that is a little guy called Sherlock Holmes.
Well, Sherlock Holmes, canonically, has sociopathic disorder.
Oh, okay.
No, sorry, not sociopathic disorder. Antisocial personality disorder. No.
Okay, well, that's mine.
And the only reason I know that is because I used to watch BBC One's Sherlock with Benedict from the Batch and Martin Freeman.
Well,
again,
here lies the problem of the canonical evidence, I would say. Maybe Sherlock Holmes aligns more with ADHD in a lot of ways.
Has a lot of tabs open in the brain.
Yeah. I will say this, like, look, it's not my place to say. Never been checked up for anything, but not diagnosed with anything. So, not my space to say. But Sheldon Cooper, if he gave you that, I cannot shit on it. So,
Well, I mean, it's
Bazinga, like, that's all I got to say.
I watched, God, it's been almost a decade now, but I watched Silver Linings Playbook ages ago. And it did a really good job of showcasing for the average person what fucking bipolar and hypermania and severe depressive swings are like. Like, I get it. Like, having, like, it comes back to that representation thing. They don't, there's been huge strides in, at least here, that like women can have autism and ADHD. It's not just a male problem. It's not just a male diagnosis. It's not just a male disorder. And like seeing like what ADHD looks like in women, I'm like, yo, motherfucker, why do I feel why do I feel like I understand this? And then I learn their coping mechanisms, and now I'm a somewhat functional, pseudo successful adult. So like I get it. I'm glad that you had Sheldon to like help you with that.
But it makes me feel bad, being honest. But I just
No.
don't think it's funny.
This is the thing, like,
Yeah.
the funniness is subjective. And I totally understand that. For me, Big Bang Theory, I don't know, I've watched Big Bang Theory for far longer than I've been diagnosed as, or had a diagnosis of autism. I literally got that August 2022. And as of recording this, we're in January 2023. So I've not been diagnosed that long, and I've been watching Bang Theory for a much longer time. Early season Sheldon, he just comes off as like this narcissistic, annoying arsehole. But it's literally, if we were to say like the last 3-4 seasons where it really kind of like comes through. It's like, oh, they're trying to portray autism. That's where I'm kind of like, oh, okay. But I will say that ADHD is in women and autism in women is so absolutely underdiagnosed.
Well, 100%. And as someone that works in a school, as someone that is spearheading like a program to change that exact problem, what we'll say is that is 100%. It presents more aggressively or disruptively in men. It does that, and I'm sorry if. And I'm not saying that's all cases, but it becomes apparent sooner and in a way that is more disruptive, in that women, for whatever reason, are less likely to be non-verbal at a young age and have that kind of... And I will argue this, actually. I don't think it's a degree necessarily of the condition, but I think it's a degree of social condition.
I was going to say, as someone who is diagnosed with both autism and ADHD and identifies as a woman, I feel it's absolutely societal, because I look at the kids that I grew up with in school that were diagnosed with ADHD and were diagnosed with autism as autistic when I was like say in primary school here in this area, and the reason that they were diagnosed was because they were so much, their presentation of these things were so much more outward, whereas mine was completely internal. My psychiatrist picked up within 2 seconds of seeing me that I was autistic. And that was because she saw my shelf of Warhammer things and D&D things behind me. Because apparently autistic people gravitate to those things.
No shit.
But she said that she said to me that the reason it's not picked up is because women are so conditioned from the moment you are kind of like born that everything you think, everything you say, everything you do is going to be wrong. Because that's what we are taught as women. Sorry to get and that's what internalizes those things for us. I was never a kid that misbehaved, but I was the daydreamer. I was the one that was like really, really smart, but didn't really contribute or didn't really do a lot. And like I could literally find my school reports and they would say those exact same things. They would say that I was daydreaming, that I didn't talk, that I didn't participate, that I was really, really smart. And that is such a common indicator for women with those disorders, as you were the gifted kid, you were the quiet kid, you were really, really smart, but you didn't talk a lot, or you daydreamed a lot. That's how it really presents in women, because it's so ingrained in us to internalize our thoughts and our feelings, because if we express them outward, we're aggressive, we're wrong, those sorts of things. Yeah, it absolutely is a societal thing.
Yeah. I mean, because in teaching like after school and dealing with just after school, any of these kids that, if it's functional for them to be medicated, their meds have worn off by this point. And I got hit by a kid, like physically struck, and it was a little girl who I believe was somewhat neurodivergent or might, not a doctor, can't diagnose, but showing signs of neurodivergency or potential attention issues. Like, I was hit by a kid. I'm not going to take it out on the kid. There's obviously a behavioral thing that's caused that. I'm going to just be chill and handle the situation. But then when my little boys are getting frustrated and they're acting out and they're throwing their magic tricks, I whip out the fidget toy from my book bag and I'm like, hey, let's sit here and I want you to play with this if you want, take some big deep breaths, calm down, and we'll talk about your feelings. And all the teachers are like, thank fuck. And I'm like, listen, it's not that hard to take some consideration for a kid. Like, but girls are conditioned to keep all that shit
This
calm
this
down.
is we started to think about the breadth of time in which art and culture and media have existed. And let's go back to, say, the ancient Greeks, the birth of civilization as we know it. And we look, this was dominated by men. These spaces were dominated by men until, so we're going back to 2500 BC at least, for the likes of Euripides and Aristotle, who, formed our basis of understanding of criticism of things in the world around us. These spaces and this idea of criticism and being able to speak about things was dominated by men until, actually, let's be honest, maybe the 19th century. When you think about the scope of history in that time, we've come on leaps and bounds in maybe the last 100 years, more so than the previous 1,000 around us. But the space of feminine thought in a serious critical perspective has only existed for the last 200 years, in the last 2,500 of this, years of discourse. Which,
Right.
when we do the math, half of the world's population is only accounted for in 10% of historical critical discourse. So there is much yet that we don't understand about, perspectives of people that are known as other, if we look at it that way. And that, to me, and I thought this statistic the other day, that to me is a stat that absolutely terrifies me, because actually exploration of the known world and lived experience has only been half covered for 90% of the time that we have been writing tomes that have covered experiential details of the human race, which shows that we know nothing of what it is to be in these situations. We only know the perspective of the privileged few. And that's not to say that those with those voices didn't give us so much. That isn't that shocking? And I came to that realization the other day, and I was like, what?
Absolutely. For me personally, I think and I'm not saying this to discriminate against anyone's religion. My best friend's Christian, I respect Christianity. But I do think Christianity has had a massive part to play in putting women in a second-class position. Because if we go back, I say this as a raging pagan, by the way.
Burn her at the stake.
So I have had people threaten to stone me before.
Hey, I'll get stoned any day.
I think we've gone, because when Christianity kind of like a thing only about 2,000 years ago, we went from a very matriarchal society to a very patriarchal society. Because women were, I mean, in some cultures, women were so absolutely revered as like these like places of power, especially in like Norse culture. Women were very revered and respected as warriors, whereas Christianity came into place and it was very much a way for. I mean, and that was kind of like when our patriarchal society, I think, became the mainstream more than anything. Again, I just want to say, people can believe whatever they wish to believe, as long as your opinions aren't affecting other people's lives. So I'm totally chill with that. I respect other people's beliefs. And if Christianity is what you feel, and if that's what you vibe with, then that's absolutely, I love that for you. But I do think it's had a massive part to play in where we are at now. So,
I agree with you, but disagree on Christianity being the starting point of it. And I will say why. Christianity is born out of many different doctrines. And I actually would argue that patriarchy has been a dominating force. And I understand that female voices have spoken out. And the irony is not lost on the earth of mansplaining here, which is not what I want to do. Judaism is the same. In many world religions do the same. And if you want to believe in any of these doctrines, then feel free. But no, actually, I respect your right to believe it, but I don't necessarily respect your beliefs if it's harmful to someone else. I reserve your right to believe what you want to believe, but actually, I don't necessarily respect beliefs. I will say that, and any fire that wants to come at me, I think I'm over it now. I'm too old, and I'm too withered and too decrepit, and I just want to say, like, I bow to only one religious lord in this world, and that is whoever played the bass line at the beginning of Seinfeld. Bam, 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 bam. Because irrespective of gender, race, religion, or creed, the Seinfeld bass line slaps beyond belief. There's a hill to die on. Live and die by your passions, not by. I'm going to stop because I'm going to say something that's going to offend someone. I be excellent to everybody and party on, dude. That's all I think. Live and let live.
Love your life.
And there's too much. Well, we're spouting nonsense. Let's talk about something less serious because we are. All kitties had a bottle of wine. Yeah. As have I.
Shit.
I'm on ADHD meds.
We should. This is exactly why we should be talking about King of Queens.
Well, let's hit these guest questions and then let you two be free. So a lot of them have to do with D&D. So just be forewarned. I'm going to get the big one out of the way that's been at time of recording, in the news lately. And I know there was an update today. So Alt Kitty, what have been your thoughts on Wizards of the Coast's recent decision to update and change its OGL?
So the OGL and their update, or the leaked update specifically, if we're talking about it, is controversial. What they were trying to do, I get it, but I also think that they're fucking themselves over. People are perpetuating misconceptions as well. People are talking about how it's going to affect streamers and it's going to affect cosplayers and all this sort of thing, and it's absolutely not, because those kinds of things are protected under fair use. And they can fight fair use, like WotC and Hasbro can fight fair use. However, I don't really think it's really that would really be a problem. Where the problem will be like third-party publishers like Pathfinder and those who, like Hit Point Press, who put out this D&D related content. However, they have since come back and rescinded that completely, which has just been because so many people have been cancelling the D&D Beyond subscriptions. My personal opinion, when the OGL leak came out, was this is really shitty, but this sounds like it's coming from Hasbro and not WotC. Because Wizards of the Coast have done questionable things, things I don't agree with. But Hasbro, being such a massive parent company, I feel like this push has come from them, especially with Wizards of the Coast now branching into film industry with the new Dungeons and Dragons movie coming out. I get that they need to protect the intellectual property from other big companies, which I agree with, but they shouldn't shit on their community in the same breath, you know?
Right.
I think that's really my opinion on it.
I mean, to kind of lump in Druid a little bit, what the leak was is that Wizards of the Coast, who owns like Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering and stuff for D&D, if you were doing like a homebrew campaign or like a spin-off of some kind using Wizards of the D&D related stuff, if you made more than $250,000, they were going to charge you or take a larger cut of your revenue. And it was a big increase. My big thing is there are so few people that make over $50,000 a year, and the people that do make the $250,000 plus are big groups who can afford, as someone who is in business and knows all the raw numbers of business and content creation and stuff, if you are smart, paying that fee shouldn't break your bank, but also Wizards should not be gouging, and in essence, Hasbro should not be gouging everybody involved in any of their IPs. Reprinting limited runs of Magic the Gathering cards that are selling for thousands for a single card. Fucking market values, promising things and never delivering, cutting out small comic shops. Wizards is like shit in the bed. And I think I do think it comes from Hasbro. But god damn. But they did walk back the leak, though, today. I think you said, right?
I was in the car on the way here when they sent out a statement saying this was never what we wanted. We wanted fan feedback and more community feedback and stuff. And we see that we can't do what we want to do whilst also respecting our original ideologies. And essentially what it was, we want our money back. Please subscribe to D&D Beyond again. Because what they were trying to do was not only, like, basically, for people who don't know, you have a lot of third-party publishers who will publish, like, homebrew D&D content for money. Like, they will put out these books and stuff and these modules for money that are meant for D&D and covered under the open game license. And Wizards of the Coast OGL leak that happened was that they were going to basically take that as their own and say that they owned it and completely rescind the old open game license in the same breath, which legally, I'm not sure they could have done in the first place. As someone who deals with the law on the daily, like it's quite literally my job to deal with like legal cases. I'm not entirely sure that they could have done that legally in the first place to rescind the old OGL. But they were essentially trying to take fan-made content and own it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was where a lot of the point of contention came from.
Yeah. I keep seeing the Critical Role folks and people talking about Critical Role. Enjoy Critical Role. Do your thing. It's not mine, and I respect that, but Critical Role makes so much fucking money.
They already have an agreement with Wizards of the Coast anyway, so it's
right.
It wouldn't have really affected them either. Neither would it have affected Dimension 20, which is the other big one that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I feel like a lot of people and a lot of content creators blew it far out of proportion and perpetuated mistruths. However, I just want to say that the OGL leak still absolutely sucked, but there was still perpetuated mistruths.
Yeah. Yeah. Shit's, well, I'm already, I mean, I will admit it, I'm already really upset at Wizards because of the Magic the Gathering thing. I mean, I donated to a friend's collection cards worth thousands of dollars because I had no use for them anymore. I could have sold them to him, but he couldn't afford them. And so I gave them to him, and they are now worth half the value, which tells me if he would have bought them from me, I would have felt so guilty because Wizards just made all of those cards value cut in half. And I get it, evil Lord Hasbro, but fuck, man. Like,
These decisions don't appear in the minds of the people that create these outlets, right?
yeah.
It's a corporate thing. But, like, if you're in a corporate situation, you know, there's that old parable of, like, it's a fool that builds his house on the sand, and it's a smart man that builds his house on the rocks. But let's add on to that, it's a more foolish man that, like, destroys the rocks his house are built on. And when you've got a passionate community, like, at the center of your business, why would you undermine that?
Yeah. And without the community, Wizards of the Coast will be absolutely nothing. Wizards of the Coast relies on the community because they're the ones that are churning out, quite frankly, absolute shit at the minute. And I say this as a D&D streamer, I say this as an avid D&D player who loves Dungeons and Dragons. Wizards of the Coast's content that they've put out in the past 2 years has been absolute dog shit. It's been rehashing of the same. All they've done really is like reskin old things that they already had because they've got this new D&D 1 coming out, and on the one hand, I get it, but on the other hand, it just doesn't really compute in my brain. I think.
Well, that's
They're shooting.
somebody actually asked. Somebody actually asked. Ronnie Tonic asked thoughts on D&D 6E, and there was wait, there's 6E now. I thought there was 5E. Like, I have 3.5 books. I said I'm not going to buy 4. 4 is too different. We're all playing 3.5. That was a decade ago. What the I don't even know what's happening anymore.
100% clarify. So there's no such thing as 6E. There's not 5.5 either. So what Wizards of the Coast, or WotC as some people call them, are bringing out is D&D 1, which what they've tried to do is address racism issues that have always been prevalent in the past. D&D content, you know, saying that dark elves, tieflings are inherently evil in lore, in canon D&D lore. Because why should they be? You know?
Right.
Those are a couple, there's far, far more. And harmful stereotypes. So I think it was with Tasha's Cauldron of Everything that they brought out new ways of lineage. So instead of races having an automatic boost to charisma or dexterity or whatever race, you can pick the pluses that you get. And D&D 1 is just kind of like further verifying that. It's still 5E, it's just the character creation system is going to be slightly different, as it's not going to say that, for example, Kalashtar get a +2 to charisma or wisdom, I can't remember. And halflings get a +2 to dexterity, you know? It's more of just putting every single species rather than race, I think, as well, that we're doing on a level playing field. And nothing is inherently good, nothing is inherently evil. There's no inherent racism, because that is an absolute trait in D&D. Like, high elves have always been seen as incredibly racist to anything not high elf. And they're just trying to eliminate that and stop having it as like a base product, because, let's be real, I say this as a DM, if you need racism and stuff to make your world interesting, you're not a good writer.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents on that. And that's clarification about 6E. It doesn't exist.
Well, because one of the responses was that it's coming in 2024, but some of the anticipated content is like, quote, out there, unquote. Still kind of hoping it'll be like 5E instead of a whole new edition. So I'm kind of curious what others have to say. So it's definitely an interesting interesting thought. I mean, because before they even put E's on their editions, like, I feel like I'm like, back in my day, but I mean, I literally still have my 3.5 books sitting on the bottom of my bookshelf. And
Get the F.
It felt like things were simpler back then. And that's when Pathfinder was first starting to get big, and I never made the jump to Pathfinder. So,
well, I know we're saying when the OGL like got leaked, it's like, oh, we're going to move to Pathfinder, and I'm sitting there like, do you not realize that Pathfinder is going to get absolutely massacred by this new OG? Yeah, that's another thing that it just popped into my head.
Yeah.
Such a good answer to that question.
But
it was just a comprehensive answer to that question. I've got one for you.
Mm-hmm.
What happened when the gym bro went ice skating with the Wizards of the Coast?
Yeah, that's right.
He slid into the dam.
God damn it.
I,
Terrible.
oh my god.
I figure we'll do this with a D&D related question and then a non D&D related question, and we'll bounce back and forth, get through a few of these, and then whenever you guys are done, just tap.
Can I just say, like, if that's the format, I'm willing to go as long as possible to see when we run out, which kind of question we run out of first.
Fair.
Well, let's grab a non D&D related one. Andy, real Andy DeSeal, asks a dream travel destination.
I've already been to some really cool places. I've been able to go to Peru and got Machu Picchu. I've been to Venice already. And I've been to Disneyland Florida, which was kind of it. My dream travel thing was like Disneyland Florida. So I guess next it would be Athens in Greece, which I'm actually going to in May. Yeah, so I guess I would say Athens.
I dig it. That's cool.
Travel destination. Interesting. I would go everywhere given the opportunity. I would go to fucking Ukraine. I wouldn't actually. We're going to India next year. That's been one that I wanted to go to for a while. I want to go places actually that that are a little bit more difficult. I want to go to somewhere that the world has rocked a little bit, because I think it's important to. I want to do that because I would like to have some perspective, but realize that actually that ambition isn't really something that could ever come to fruition. But I have a general belief about humanity in that we don't decide what happens. There are a group of people who decide what happens for us. To go on the ground in somewhere where difficult shit has happened, I would like to affirm my belief that people in general want maybe three things. And I think that's to have food in their bellies, have good times, and people around them they care about. And I want to see if that is true of everywhere. Also, would love to come to Iowa.
I mean, you're always welcome, man.
Be a long time. I would love to.
I mean, come to Iowa. I can show you so many things, and we could get in a car and drive and see nothing for hours. That's great.
Yeah. But what you don't understand is that, like, so Mrs. Knowledge's brother did like San Fran. He kind of did the West Coast, right? And it's funny because like every like truck driver's idea of hell is like going through these like kind of Midwest states where there's like nothing going on, but for them it was like wow, we drove for 6 hours and there was nothing. And you realize it's all a matter of perspective, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, my boss loves, cities and stuff, and she feels like she's trapped in Iowa. And I'm like, listen here. You don't even know. You grew up in a city of, 350,000 people. You don't go to many, quote, cities that are less than 1,000 people. Like, you don't go there, you don't spend time there. Your graduating class was the size of my entire high school. Like, she forgets that there's a world of, rural America that's nothing, and there's just cornfields, or that there are places in this country where English is the second language.
It's all a perspective thing, right? We can't imagine those spaces people that don't live in unless you go and see it.
Yeah. And we were in South Dakota for some shows, and it was like driving through the city we were in is a city that's like a recognizable name if you live in the Midwest, but it's the size of one of our small Iowa towns. And there's not a coffee shop. There's not a Starbucks. There is a Subway sandwich shop and a couple of gas stations. And like, it's just, there's not a lot of different people. It's kinds of people. It's the same, everybody's business. And
yeah, right. I almost forget, like, in the best possible way, I almost forget Iowa's a state when we talk about it on the podcast. Because it's like Des Moines, right? And then outside of that, what is Iowa? It's like, when you're on like a Red Dead Redemption map, you come across like 5 houses.
Dude, there are some spots in Iowa that you drive through and it looks like it's stuck in the 30s, 40s, 50s.
See, actually, like, I would love to visit that kind of like landscape. I've always been really interested in it. But then also change my answer. Like, always wanted to go to like maybe like Arizona or something like that, where you've got or like Death Valley, California. You've got those kind of like the desolate mountains, and I bet this. Having seen like a designated dark space, looking at the sky somewhere that had no light pollution whatsoever, you get a different perspective of like what's around. And you start to understand like how people used to chart the stars and tell stories, and we've kind of lost that in like an urban setting. So as many, in the best possible way, as many places where the like nobody is kind of sounds cool. But what's yours?
Yeah.
So you've never left the States? Right?
I've been to Canada, but not very far into Canada, and it was all very touristy where I was at. I would like to go to the more remote, desolate parts of Canada. I would love to spend a decent chunk of time in Scotland and Ireland and just get away for a month.
Yeah.
And just be.
Well, we want very well kind of like a year ago now. I went to the biggest like in Scotland, went to the biggest like space of kind of uninhabited land in the UK, and hand-fed deer, and went out into like rough scenarios. Loved it, but I must say, compared to what you got to used to, it must seem minuscule.
I mean, America's a weird thing because it's every state. You're like, oh, there's tons of people that live here. Oh my gosh, there's, the entire population of an entire country can fit in this state. But then you really look at it and you go, but these people are all in this city or these cities, and it's so rural in between. There's no single state that is, there is just a bunch of big cities or medium-sized cities that are kind of chained together.
Yeah, that.
And
Yeah.
like that's a big misconception because you think about New
Yeah,
York, you think about California.
Literally was about to say upstate New York, very different from what we understand. Manhattan, fucking
Right. Like in Southern California, yeah, there's a lot of big cities, and like if you're in LA, it's not very far off of other like Long Beach is technically in the same greater LA area, and it's an hour drive from Long Beach to Palm Springs. But Palm Springs is a tiny town, but it's one of the biggest music festival sites in the country. You know, Coachella happens in Palm Springs.
But I'm gonna flip this question like this. So I'm gonna, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go around and say, what's the best place? Best location. If the one place you're like, wow, I could go there again. Yeah. I'm gonna start with Ginger because you went last time.
I mean, it's been a long time since I've been there, so I'd like to go again. But I've been to Niagara Falls 2 or 3 times, and it's stunning. And I'd like to go spend more time in the falls. But if I had to pick somewhere else, there's a little college town in Georgia, or there are spots in Southern California that are just chill. They're fairly quiet, but they have that laid back West Coast vibe, and I loved it.
All you gotta do is take that, like, drive down the 2, and then you're there.
I will say, fuck driving on the 101.
Absolutely. Let's avoid the 101. You know what I mean? I prefer to take the 2, right?
Fucking driving on the 10 was gross through the mountains, but that was all right.
If the people listening for $100 in each, then we will make a documentary where we go down 66 of them.
I mean,
throw the money at us. Let's make a documentary where we do 66. I would love that.
oh my god,
I do that.
that would be wild.
David, I'm so glad we took the 66 and not the 10. And we listened to Valley Girl by Moon Zapper the whole way. You ever heard that? Oh my god! You ever heard that song?
Yes.
So,
you played it for me.
So, oh my god, Valley Girl. Tubular. It's like a what's the best one? What's the best one you did?
So there are 3 places I've visited that are very close to my heart that I would say are 4 of the best places I've visited, so I can't really pick between the 3. So it's Machu Picchu in Peru. Specifically Machu Picchu. I would never go to Lima, which is the capital of Peru, ever again. Fuck. That place is not safe. At least it wasn't when I went. Venice. I love Venice with all my heart. I love that place so much. I worked in Venice when I was 19, I think.
What's in it? Arrivederci podcast.
I was part of the La Biennale Arte in 2016. Must have been 2016. 2016, 2017. So yeah, I love that place so much. I I love visiting there. I've had like the best calzone I've ever had there. In like some random side street where I had someone's laundry hanging above my head. And then Amersfoort in the Netherlands is also a place I just absolutely adore. I've been to the Netherlands quite a few times, and I've never been to Amsterdam, which is where everyone goes. I've only ever really been to Amersfoort and the place called Spack something. And I just love Amersfoort. My pronunciation is perhaps.
Oh, I thought it was really good. Amersfoort.
It's Amersfoort.
We need Nightmare back.
Yeah.
Bully Bay. We had a guest recently, Dutch. Yeah.
All right.
Don't know what else to say apart from he would correct your pronunciation right now.
He'd help you out.
Yeah, he just like throw you an extra line. For me, it's I would go. It's a toss-up. I would go back to Sicily. I spent many months in Sicily. I worked there, as I've mentioned on the podcast before. I would go back there. I would go back to New York as well. I enjoyed New York, and I didn't think I would. But I'll leave that there. Please carry on with the D&D question.
So this one will hopefully be a little bit more easy to answer. Do you prefer to play or GM/DM?
Play. So in my stream,
Play.
yeah, in my streams, I'm the DM. I'm the person that like thinks out the campaign. Well, at the moment we're running a module, but I'm usually the person who thinks out the campaign and all that. I am very much the DM, but my preference is to be a player. I like the not knowing and trying to figure out. So I play in two D&D campaigns and a Vampire Masquerade campaign, one of which I'm the DM. So I've got my Tuesday game, which I DM, my Wednesday game where I'm a player, and I absolutely love my Tuesday campaign that I stream. However, I love not having to be in control of every aspect and just kind of like mess about. So yeah, I kind of prefer to be the player, but I am happy to be the DM.
It seems like a big responsibility to be a DM.
Oh god, it is.
And I've only played D&D a few times, which is why like we're talking about like recent campaigns and the kind of politics of it. Like I don't understand that, but what I love about D&D is that you have this kind of like game of chess with the DM where you're constantly trying to outsmart each other.
Yeah,
Which is like more role play than any video game I have ever come across. Because that in real life, that's the situation. But like, also, I think if I had the choice, I think if I could do the reading, I would love to one day be a DM because I think I would be such fucking ridiculous. Like,
so here's the thing: be a DM. You don't actually need to know really jack shit about D&D. So I started DMing 3 months after starting. 3 months after I started playing D&D. My DM for my Wednesday campaign, which we are nearing. We've been running that campaign for 3 years now.
jeez.
Wait, yeah, no, it's 3 years this year. It'll be 3 years this April. Started that campaign 3 months into being a D&D player. If you want to be a DM and you want to run a campaign, all you really need is like the will and a storyline. And then the rest is kind of ease with it. If you've got someone that you know who is a DM or an experienced DM, they can always help you with like the actual D&D side of shit. So like, so this is when you would ask for an intelligence roll, this is when you would ask for this kind of roll, that sort of thing. You can also just buy the DM's guide and that'll tell you. But
So, in short, what Alt Kitty is saying to me right now is that I can run a D&D campaign for the Ginger Talks community that you co-chair, and we're all going to play together.
you know, I'm pretty sure last time I was here on this podcast, we spoke about running a D&D night.
I would love that. We should do a
And-
community D&D live.
I am in the process. So the current campaign that I'm running is a module, and we are getting to the point where we'll be ending it in the next few months, I imagine. Depends how quickly it goes. Because we are kind of we're at a halfway point, and we've taken a lot of breaks. If we don't take a lot of breaks, we'll be finishing pretty soon. But I am kind of setting up the next campaign. So I would absolutely have like one shot from things like that, or potentially just something that you could kind of have a community D&D this community.
Maybe I'll edit this out. I'm going to posit this idea to you guys. Let's do a charity D&D stream.
Oh man.
Cool.
Let's do a charity D&D stream.
I'd be down. It's been a long time since I played D&D. I do still have a bunch of my dice, but
So we'll
I
have Alt Kitty to guide us. Let's do a charity D&D stream.
yeah, I could never GM just because I don't my brain doesn't function to have the visualization stuff that is sometimes required for it. So I'd be down to be a player.
Yeah, I'm so incredibly used to it, and my lot are ridiculously chaotic. Like they were trying to open a door in a dungeon, and this door had a very, very low DC to break open, and it also wasn't locked. They just never tried to actually open it. And so we were doing a bit of a homebrew, that Dragon Age setting. They picked up the Canary, which is like this giant person with horns, and rammed them through the door to open the door instead of just open the door. And then kept that physical door with the two holes in it from the Canary's horns as a tower shield. So like,
By the way, was that a guy that kept that shield with the holes in it?
it was a Idiotron.
Why are you keeping that door with the holes in it? No reason.
Well, it's only got like the two holes, and then you can use that to like keep your
Exactly what I was insinuating.
you see, you can aim that because they were a wizard.
Well, here's my pledge. If we can get a certain goal together, I will do the whole thing in character as an eccentric wizard in costume.
Oh my god! Right, this is happening. This is happening. I swear.
I'll be like, "Welcome to the games." Oh, Agassanite, you seem to have found a door with two holes. Do you want to take it and peep through, or try and open it? That is a can opener, Senite. You have rolled a 5, and therefore you're still alive.
Oh fuck.
Oh my god.
If you want to pass by me, you must answer me these questions. 3. What
Well, I'm gonna, being that we're talking about this. Sorry, I just read another question that kind of falls into the an extension to the original question. As a GM, do you believe in critical fails triggering shenanigan consequences?
I don't know if this is what they meant, but what I do with critical fails in combat, so generally speaking, because we use roll, what we particularly use Roll20 for combat, we'll have 8, because 1 square equals 5 feet, you'll have 8 squares around you. I'll have them roll a d8. If they roll an at one on their attack, and that d8 kind of decides what happens per square of what happens during combat. So it could be that they actually hit an enemy, that they hit an ally, that they bounce their sword off the ground and hit themselves, or the sword gets stuck or whatever. If we're talking like ability checks, so rules are written in the DM's guide. Critical fails and critical successes, so nat 1s and nat 20s, for those who don't know, don't actually mean anything. They just are a pass or a fail. How I do it is, if you roll a nat 1 on like acrobatics or athletics or whatever that you're trying to do, it's like the biggest ADHD moment happens to you. So I had a player try, and so they were an Aarakocra. So for those who don't know, that is like a bird person, essentially.
Bird person.
And they were trying to fly through this window of a library that was armed with traps. And they rolled a nat 1. And so they tried to fly into the window and got magic missile casted on them, which is an unavoidable attack. And because they rolled the nat 1, they were like, "Oh, it's fine, I'll do it again." Or so it's things like that, or they'll have like a really hilarious fall. Things like so, yeah, absolutely. Like critical failures, I will. If it's like an agreed upon thing when we start the game, they always send out consent forms and things like that. I will absolutely always make it hilarious.
Good. That was asked by ADHD Toaster, who asked the previous question, and he is very pro shenanigans. So
Here we go.
Oh, it's not. It's not.
Nailed it.
Let's see. Non D&D question. And then we have like 2 more D&D questions after that and a couple other non D&D questions, but there's still like 5 or 6 that are here. Unconventional waffle toppings you'd be willing to try.
I mean, like, what is unconventional?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unconventional waffle topping I'm willing to try.
I was given 0 criteria. But
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm marrying a Dutch person, and the Dutch they border with Belgium, so nothing's kind of off limits. So I don't really know what would be considered an unconventional.
I'm marrying a Dutch person, so my unconventional topping is that person.
Yeah, I guess. Cannibalism.
It's either that or insects, you fucking white-balled prick. For me, it would be BuzzFeed quiz printouts. just to eat them, just to see what my personality is at the end of it. And it turns out I'm Sarah Jessica Parker.
I don't constitute an unconventional waffle topping.
I mean, like, use your imagination. I mean, like, floor lamps. Unconventional waffle topping.
Wait,
I reckon. Do you know what? Eggs with maple syrup and hot sauce.
Oh, this would sound amazing.
That's not that I was gonna say that's not super unconventional to me. The hot sauce on its own is unconventional, and that's what my answer was gonna be.
Yeah, but like, would it actually be nice? Like, it depends on the waffle. Are we talking Belgian?
Mm. Yeah.
Are we talking like stroopwafel?
Waffle.
Oh, it's not.
Waffle.
My apologies. Unconventional waffle. So, we are living in a world where sweet and savory are colliding like particles in the LHC program. So, I mean, like, I'm going to say basil.
Mm.
Basil and olive oil. Why not? With a bit of salt.
I don't know. I don't know many people that put butter on their waffles.
I do. That's very common. here.
Okay.
Well,
Noodles. Noodles on waffles.
America is,
Ooh.
so the American contingent here just admitting basically that everyone's stoned.
Well,
I put butter in spaghetti.
I put butter in. Oh, come on. No. There's an Italian crying. Yeah, I love Venice, so I put butter in spaghetti. Mamma mia. I'm about that child.
It's just because spaghetti in the UK I found is very dry, no matter how I cook it. So it's just to give it some of that moisture back.
Here's the tip. Right, so I learned this very recently. That the darker your pasta, your dried pasta, the lower quality it is. So if you get a dried pasta that is like bright yellow, that's one to get. But so I'm saying a savory waffle. So we're gonna put a little bit of garlic. We're putting olive oil on it. We're putting rosemary on it.
Okay.
And then maybe, like, for me, vegetarian Worcestershire sauce. And we're going to try, like, a gravy waffle because it's like a Yorkshire pudding.
Sorry, I have to ask. You have to clarify vegetarian Worcestershire sauce.
Henderson relic.
Is not all Worcestershire sauce just vegetarian?
No,
My mind has been blown.
made from anchovies.
I think. Oh shit! Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
The only form of that sauce that you can eat without animal products in is the Sheffield-based Henderson relic.
I need to check mine because I am like incredibly allergic to fish.
huh.
There we go. So no one agreeing with my sentiment. Ginger? Surely you're putting a bit of ginger on that. Bit of ginger.
Well, I was actually gonna say something along the lines of, doing something that's more like a spicy noodle, like a Southeast Asian. Whether it's just like the sauce or just like scoops of just like noodles. And you use the taco or use the waffle like a taco shell.
Can someone just like clip Ginger saying "oops"?
I'm
That'd be fantastic.
not
For me, I think it's like almost like a gravy of working.
I mean, not even a gravy, because like I guess this is a perfect point of foods are slightly different with the same name, like same names, different foods. Um,
Yeah.
but like breakfast gravy here, fuck me up. It's so good.
Breakfast.
But like that's common.
I gotta say, when I went to America for the first time in my life, not earlier this year because we're in 2023, but in September 2022, I finally tried biscuits, like American, like the biscuits that Americans have. You know what they are? They're fucking scones.
Shit.
They're scones.
That sounds awful. I hate scones anyway. Fuck you and your biscuits, Ginger. How about that?
See, I'm not a big fan of biscuits unless they're super buttery and they have like gravy or something. There's too fucking dry.
So, what are we talking about when we're saying gravy?
So we obviously talk about the brown gravy, but Americans generally, obviously correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not American. I don't know why I'm talking. There's something like white creamy gravy.
So, like the IKEA gravy?
No, it's like white.
I know you fucking.
So let me kind of explain it. The way like we make it here at home, like my family and stuff does, we make, because we're not vegetarian, we usually take the fat from like bacon or sausage, and we then add like milk and flour to it and let it thicken. And so it's still it's a very heavy gravy most of the time.
Right.
And so it's lighter in color, but you let it thicken, and then you put it on like biscuits or pancakes. You usually have it with breakfasty stuff. You don't have it with like fruit.
It's not gravy.
I say this. So gravy is very much associated with Yorkshire, and I say this as someone whose father is from Yorkshire. But that is not gravy.
I say this as someone whose father is from Yorkshire. That is not gravy. That's American snot. That is. Throw milk in. Fucking bacon.
That's not gravy.
That's not gravy. That's.
Do it for Yorkshire.
What's that? Ginger snaps. How dare you?
But you can also have it with like fried chicken, and
It should be white.
Excuse me. That's not how they do it in Yorkshire. That's not gravy.
Not gravy. Jane Bain would be very.
I'll tell you what you got there. You got posh cream there.
Yeah.
And I would know because I'm in the Beatles. I tell you what, we had John, Paul, George, and Ringo. Those were the days. I had proper gravy. Isn't that right, John? Imagine a world with proper gravy. That's right, John. I'm Paul McCartney. That's really awful. Doing an impression of the Beatles. Well, that's right, John. That's proper gravy. I'm Paul McCartney. I'm whimsical. Then John's like, imagine a world with different gravy, eh, Paul? Liverpool. I hate Liverpool. Do you know what the worst thing about Liverpool is?
Chicken chops and charcoal.
The Beatles. I'm the gravy, George, isn't that right? Don't talk to me, John. I'm just a sitar player. Gravy? What are you talking about, Ginger? That is not gravy.
that is a breakfast gravy.
Gravy.
No. Okay, we're getting too pissed off. Let's go back to D&D.
Listen, I'm just telling you the shit that goes on here. Y'all are jumping on me. I didn't do it. I didn't name it. I didn't make it a thing.
All right. Okay. All right. I feel like I'm in daddy daycare when you speak to me like that.
Yes.
Okay. Right. I've been to IHOP. That was not on the menu.
Were you in IHOP here in the States?
Yeah. New York. New York.
As far as I'm aware,
It's on the menu at IHOP.
Well, I looked at it and I deleted it. What the fuck are you talking about? Breakfast gravy. Breakfast gravy. Over here we call that milk, and we put it in our cereal. Anyway, this has gone way too far. Can we have
next question?
next question? I don't even know. I don't even know if everyone answered. Right. Sorry. Carry on.
What alignment best suits you IRL?
Oh, so fun fact. It's the exact same alignment that I play in all of my D&D campaigns, like as a character. Chaotic neutral, because I find that I'm very much not a lawful character because fuck capitalism. But I'm not evil either. So I'm kind of like more of a neutral, but at the same time, I'm a very chaotic person.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, chaotic neutral, which is also what I play as one of my characters. So it's just easier for me to do.
I'll tell you what I play. I play Yoko.
Damn it.
What do you play, Ginger? And then after that, like you can tell me because I don't know what the fuck I am.
Oh, I've got you. I've got your alignment.
All right. So Ginger first.
I would like to think that I am chaotic good that leans to chaotic neutral because there's that part of me that's just like, oh, juicy dirt. Someone's ruining their life. Ooh, let me grab a glass of wine. Like, there's still that big part of me that's just like, yes, I love watching the world burn and just like subtle digs. But all in all, I am a pretty good person, I think. So I think chaotic good that leans closer to neutral is
yes, Ginger, you
probably about where I fall.
Yes, Ginger, you are Galadriel, leader of Macwood.
Honestly, I see chaotic good for you as well.
Yeah, good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Drew.
Yeah.
I see you as, I would say, chaotic good. I wouldn't quite put you as neutral. But I would definitely say there's definitely a chaos element to it. But I would say good because I wouldn't say you're quite neutral because neutral suggests that you kind of do what's best depending on the situation rather than trying to follow the rules of the land. And I feel like how a good more fits you because you try and see the best.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I'm going to say that as a compliment.
Huh?
You're not neutral, you're good. And to me, that's great. It's like the sorting hat saying Gryffindor.
I'm very much a Slytherin, so
I'm in the same boat, but because not all Slytherins are bad and not all Gryffindors are good, so.
Oh, right. Oh, you're taking away from me that I could be good. I'm chaotic good, thank you.
chaotic good.
You're chaotic good.
Which basically means you get things done. You get good things done in just a pretty chaotic way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll say that. I'll say that.
Most people with ADHD, I feel, are not. I'm saying that have ADHD. I'm not
Live diagnosis at the 5-tier level.
Yeah. I work with psychologists, but I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist. I find are in the chaotic element because you've just got that many tabs open in your brain. But
yeah.
Wow. Well, a bit deeper than I was expecting, but that's okay. Next question.
So let's grab 2 more because then we've
Exhausted.
yeah. And we've been going for we're back to the old days length of recordings almost. Favorite artist and why are they your favorite?
In what context?
No context was given outside of that.
What? Big question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, if we're talking musical artist, it's Hailstorm. I don't really have a reason why. I just really enjoy their music. I've seen them live twice, once at Download, once headlining. I just really enjoy the energy that Lizzie Hale brings. I just like it.
Yes.
If we're talking like art artists, then I probably say Salvador Dali. Really just because I like the surrealism movement. I've been to the Dali Museum in Paris. That was an experience.
So we're talking art and music. Ginger. So I guess now it's become a two-tier question. Let's say music and visual.
Mm-hmm. I don't have necessarily a favorite musical artist. I have so many that I bounce between. That I really enjoy. I mean, Bryce, we were talking about I brought up Orville Peck in private to Druid earlier this week. But I'm also just super deep into In This Moment right now and The Pretty Reckless. But I'm also like my fucking music is just kind of all over the place right now. So I don't know if I have a favorite artist per se musically. The one I've listened to the longest would probably be my brother and the Beatles. Separate, not together, because that'd be weird. But like,
Wait,
so I don't know.
what did you just say? Did you just say you like the Beatles?
I've been listening to the Beatles since I was young.
Well, it sounds to me like you need help.
I get by with a little help from my friends, so you know.
Well, I just wrote that about Yoko. Like Special Friends. Was it? Ringo did Thomas the Tank Engine. Yeah. Ringo used to be the voice of Thomas the Tank Engine, which was great because Ringo is the worst Beatle. We all know it. And Ringo's like, "And what are you up to today, Thomas?" He's like, "Nothing." Well, sounds like Yoko in the studio to me, but she got a producer credit and I didn't. The Beatles. I didn't know you liked the Beatles, Jin.
Mhm. Oh, absolutely. I find myself unironically just singing Hey Jude to myself all the time.
That's what I say. Whenever I'm making a bad decision, I go, nah, 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 nah. Hey, Druid.
But I mean, like I've listened. My brother had the Red Album Beatles Greatest Hits CD, or my mom had it, and like that was a big exposure to the Beatles for me. And so I listened to the Beatles. They pop into my music rotation a lot more now frequently than they used to.
hated the Beatles for the longest time because I Want to Hold Your Hand is just so inconceivably ridiculous to me that I hate it. But then, no band, what I will say for the Beatles, and I'm not saying I'm a big fan, no band evolved quite like the Beatles. They went from I Want to Hold Your Hand to Happiness is a Warm Gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so come on. And John Lennon's solo stuff, I actually like more than the Beatles. But, like, this is not the answer that I've given, but, like, that's. So the Beatles.
I'm honestly surprised that you didn't expect that because we've talked about me liking so many different kinds of music.
Yeah, but the Beatles, like, I didn't see that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
Yeah. But as far as like artists, I don't know who did a lot of these because I don't like I fell out of it too young, but the really old traditional Japanese art that came
Like
came around the time of the Great Wave of
the
Kanagawa.
Wave, yeah. I know exactly. What's the Weezer album that's got like that as its cover? Pinkerton.
Oh,
You know the Wave. I know exactly what you're on about.
because there's something about the style that I really enjoy because the art that came out around that time, some of it is very like, especially for women, is very softly depicted, but also some of it, according to our eyes today, look a little odd. But just seeing the different art that came out of that era of Japan, I think is beautiful.
Yeah, 100%. And you can see how that went on to like not in a condescending way, like inform stages of like Japanese art that we see today. But,
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's a good pick. For me, music wise, no one surpasses Pink Floyd. I think Pink Floyd are just the greatest. In the Dark Side of the Moon album, Pink Floyd create like an atmosphere about time and the passage of time and aging, where the music informs the message and makes me feel something deep. And nothing has ever made me feel the way that Pink Floyd does. So for me, it's Pink Floyd I'm almost ashamed as like a lover and creator of music to say like something almost so predictable for me, but like at the same time, have learned over the years I can't deny that influence. The Pink Floyd for me are like the biggest thing because they talk about so many social issues in their lyrics, and that isn't like such an underplayed element of that band because they get lumped in with being like this kind of like smoke a doobie and listen to the echoey guitar solo band, or listen to this whole thing band, but like you forget the lyrics. But like actually, Pink Floyd, for a bunch of like posh students from London, actually make a stance on the right things most of the time and say things about like the world in the most amazing way. And the music also makes my spine tingle. That they're almost my favorite artist in every aspect. But then, as someone that has gone to many museums around the world and seen many things, and having thought about art, at one point I would have said Ralph Steadman was my favorite artist, and he does a lot of scratchy, inky pictures, and he did like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Actually, like having gone to many galleries, I think my favorite artist is actually maybe Caravaggio. Because Caravaggio, classical painter, he comes with an interesting story. I believe Caravaggio actually murdered someone and had to like run away from his hometown, and it's filled with intrigue and interesting stories. But Caravaggio has such an understanding of light and dark and contrasting the two together that I find arresting. And arresting is not a word that I would use when talking about art unless I really meant it. And it's the light tones against the dark. It's that contrast. Caravaggio is amazing. So I recommend you go and look at it.
I have such a hard time just because for me any traditional art is so visual. I mean, that's the nature of it. But part of the reason I do abstract is because I don't have a visual imagination anymore. So for me, visual art is so difficult. I have to have something that truly makes me feel something. It hits in a certain way. Like it's like that's what makes that question actually super hard for me. I had to like really think about like what kind of art have I always loved and do I always gravitate back to as a visual stimulus? And then like that's really what kind of hit for me.
Yeah.
But because like you brought that up, and I used to love Banksy. Like Banksy's works, like that Banksy was something I really dug in college, but I can't conjure up an image of a Banksy in my head to save my life.
Yeah, just like the spray paint bottle on MS Paint. You've got it. Nah, like I can't deny Banksy, but like in a way, like graffiti. You know, we had Paycon, the Patreon episode, and you look at people like him, it's like working class grifters. I believe that Banksy started off that way, a man with a vision, but actually, like, is now like obviously making so much money, so far removed from that culture. But like, who even is Banksy now?
Right.
Then who am I also to say that because I don't know shit?
I still think it's no low into heart attack, but who knows?
I think it's the head. Oh, the head. Tell you what, Banksy's never had breakfast gravy. Because if he did, it'd be even more dour.
Damn it. Well, do we want to do this last question and then wrap her up?
Yeah, let's do it. You up for one more?
Hit me.
All right. What's your favorite setting? I'm assuming for D&D.
I don't have one.
You're
sorry. I'm going close to the microphone.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I don't really have one. So in terms of settings, I really only play homebrew stuff. Apart from the current module that I'm running. So it's quite subjective. I like kind of medieval fantasy, I guess. We did run like a one shot that ran longer than one session. Of heist where everyone was human and there was like a mix between it was more of a mix between practical and magic, with an emphasis on practical. And I just really love like the medieval setting, I guess. So that's it really
Okay.
for me.
My very first D&D campaign was a Star Wars D20 campaign.
Oh wow.
So, and then everything else we did was all homebrew. So I get it. But
I just like how homebrew can be anything you want it to be. I'm running a module right now, and I feel like it really cuts off my creativity. I don't like that, which is why I'm very excited. I'm enjoying it, but I'm excited for it to be done so we can get onto my homebrew world that's like properly done, which the last one wasn't. So yeah.
Gotcha. Well, if the people want a D&D campaign that stars Druid and I, and led by Kitty, let us fucking know.
Yeah.
So down.
I picture it as this: like we do an endurance campaign for charity.
Oh my god.
That's how I picture it. I don't know if that's how you guys see it. An endurance campaign for a good cause. With it, like we can have people dropping in and out for donating that can fuck with the game, essentially.
Okay, so like say a certain donation threshold can dictate the movement of the players.
The more you donate, the more you can control the game.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
So they can throw the gum in the works, they can fuck the campaign and watch us try and work it out.
Oh, interesting. I like that.
Yeah, I think that could be a good little earner. If you're interested in seeing us doing that, please write in. Maybe we'll do it.
Yes.
Maybe we'll do it anyway if the cause is good enough and the kind of stars align for us to do that. I think that would be really cool though. Like endurance stream, long. Anyone can come in at any time. Let's say we've been doing it for 10 hours and someone can come in and like fuck us up. Right. Like a IRL Bixby crate, basically.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you see what I mean? And then you've got to watch us like tired as fuck, like scrambling to like deal with the situation. I think there's like honestly, I think that's got legs.
Yeah. At home as well, I've got a book completely dedicated to traps and puzzles for dungeons and D&D. So
Look at it.
Hell yeah.
there's potential.
Yes. I if you guys want that, fucking let us know. And maybe if there's enough interest in it and any of our patrons would like to join the Patreon, maybe you can be a part of kooky shenanigans. We'll figure it out. We'll figure things out, but you know, I think that would be fun. Because I know there are people who would love to play and be involved.
So it writes itself. Right.
Mm-hmm. So, well, Alt Kitty, thank you so much for joining us.
You brought a lot to the table.
Yeah.
And that's just not the real life table in the brain, but to the metaphysical conversational table. Thank you. An honor to have you with us. Thank you.
Yes. Is there anything you'd like to promote? Shout out? Do any of the things?
Oh, okay. Well, I am alt kitty underscore on pretty much everything. I do have an Etsy shop where I do cosplay, plushies, and you can always DM me for custom cosplays. Which is Creative Clark on Etsy. Clark spelled with an E at the end. I've currently listed a moving workable tiefling tail. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, so that's really what I have to play. Also stream every Tuesday and Friday.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on. And Druid, thank you so much for wrangling her into it.
No worries. Great to have a guest in the room with me tonight. I live for it. So here we go. It's the season 3. It's been a strange schedule. Not my fault.
That's all right. Big life things.
Yeah, but thank you. Yeah, thank you both.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you to our listeners and our patrons and all of you guys. We appreciate you, and we'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye.